Welcome back to Real Estate Coaching Radio. Julie and I were just joking prior to today's show about a picture we just posted, or I just posted on our Facebook page. If you guys want to check it out, it's a picture from Julie and I back when we were probably 26 and 27, somewhere in there. And this is back when we were selling real estate in Ohio, obviously. And we're both fat, and it's kind of funny for us to see it. I remember I was 30 pounds heavier and Julie was, I don't know, 20 pounds heavier, but it was like, it's real estate weight, it's what it was, but wow, did we ever look different?
Weight,
Yeah, it's the pizza every Friday. It's the rewarding yourself with carbs and food you shouldn't be eating. Yeah. So for those of you guys who think that Julie and I haven't been there, done that on multitudes of levels, including losing weight, well, there you go. Go look at the picture. It's pretty hilarious.
There's proof.
Julie was shocked, I think, that I posted the picture.
Yeah, but it's
Anyway.
also nice to see it pictured with Howard because he did have some influence on our careers, so it's also a nice little mini thank you to Howard. So there you are.
Yeah, God rest
right.
his soul. So today we're picking up where we left off yesterday and the day before, and we're talking about new home builders, how to make money with new construction. We're getting I have to say, I'm kind of surprised the feedback we're getting on this little series we're doing, because so many of you guys, it's funny too, Julie, I get a lot of emails from people who have been in the business for a long time, who are fessing up that they didn't realize what a huge spoke new construction could be for them. And just with very little effort, they're discovering there's all kinds of hidden inventory that's out there that they can be selling to their buyers, or that they can be selling to their seller, who then will list a house with them. So that's the whole point of us doing this drill down on new construction. So you guys can see, no matter how much the other agents are bitching and complaining about the lack of inventory, you can almost always create your own inventory if you know what to do, where to look. And if you're not lazy, and if you go out there and make the effort, you will always find transactions, always find houses ready to sell. Remember too, it just popped in my mind, but you can go over to Zillow, and Zillow has got this section that's behind a couple of their search fields called Make Me Move. I was just on a coaching call with Colin. Colin, I know you're listening. And he found 18 Make Me Moves that were in his marketplace. And he's gone through most of them, and pretty much most of them were priced right. And so he's calling all these guys and treating them as if they were for sale by owners, and asking them hey, guess what? If I pop by with a buyer that wants to indeed pay the price that you posted on Zillow as your Make Me Move price, would you sell the house? Okay, great. Where are you going next once the property sells? And guess what he's doing? He's generating listing traffic for himself. So there are so many opportunities out there, so many places for you guys to find business, that you should really never, ever, ever buy business. Never buy leads. Certainly never buy buyer leads. So Julie, do you have any shout outs or folks you'd like to recognize before we jump in here with our topic?
Yeah, so let's see. We have the picture you mentioned on Facebook, but also Roberto Belker posted his pre-listing package is done. His wipe-off board is done. He's hiring an assistant. Let's make the second half of the year really count. Well, we're jumping the gun by that. Let's start now, making now count going forward. But some really beautiful pictures of his pre-listing package and his whiteboards ready to rumble. So nice job implementing and not just listening to the coaching that is in Premier Coaching, but doing something about it. And let's see. I know that there's 2 referrals waiting for our clients there, and then there's a discussion that is just bubbling up about rules for price reductions, price adjustments, things like that Jesse Myers-Wise began on the Facebook page just a few minutes ago. So that's going to turn into a great discussion of price adjustment scripts and things of that nature. And let's see, referral to Colorado Springs. And of course, our mastermind event is posted on the Facebook page as well if you wanted to talk about that for a second or not, up to you. And that's all until we do some book reviews. Back to you.
Right. So the mastermind event, it's last Saturday in July. It's actually going to be like Friday evening. It's that Saturday and Sunday. I know a lot of you guys are procrastinating. We're going to sell out, I'm guessing, probably the next couple of weeks. So you definitely want to grab your seat for that. That's going to be a mastermind event that is going to be like something you've never experienced before. We have done dozens of these in the past. They've always been private events, not marketed, just usually for brokerages and offices and things of that nature. And it's pretty intense. It's not a sales event. We're not there to sell anything. We're there to basically provide just a very intense learning environment. It's a real true mastermind, guys. Not like what a lot of you go to that would be conventions. It's not a convention where you're walking in and there's going to be booths of people trying to sell you stuff. And then there's going to be people on stage, which are, just trying to sell you stuff. Not like that. Those aren't real learning environments. Those are really, if you think about those situations when you go to those, the real reason you go to those things is just so you can hook up with other agents and you can share ideas and you can relax a little bit and talk about your business amongst peers. Well, why isn't the entire event like that? Why isn't the entire real estate industry focused on really providing massive amount of value at those events versus just selling you stuff? That's what the point of our VIP mastermind is. So if you guys want more information on this, Julie, what's the URL again? It's on Facebook. I think it's the Harris VIP Mastermind. Is that right?
I believe that is correct.
That is
I just closed Facebook. Yes.
Harris VIP Mastermind. Right. HarrisVIPmastermind.com. Just go there and grab your seat. And the thing I'm really excited about is our speaker. We're going to have Ryan Halliday. You guys know him from Ego is the Enemy. He's written a lot of other books, 6-time New York Times bestseller. Fortunately, he lives here in Austin, so he was very convenient for him to come up and spend time with us in, that afternoon. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing so many of you. It's going to be like a homecoming. And again, only 50 people. So there's thousands of you, that literally 122,000 of you guys were listening yesterday to this podcast. But this mastermind event's only going to be 50 people. And then we're going to do another one in Hawaii. I think that's going to be in December, and that's going to be the same number. Well, that one might be like 150 people, but you get the gist of it. These are small, intimate mastermind events where everyone can have the time to get to know each other and where you can walk out of the event after, 6 or 8 hours and you can just absolutely positively have more direction and a sense of purpose than you probably have ever had in your real estate career. That's really what these events are all about. So make sure that you register ASAP. And also, if you've not requested your free coaching call yet, it's not too late. Just go to freecoachingcallsforagents.com, freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Not only will you receive a free coaching call with one of our new member coaches, but you'll also receive 6 books, including Real Estate Treasure Map. That's the one that I want you to open up and start on right away. When you do, you're going to basically have your complete and total roadmap for the rest of this year into, frankly, 2019 as well. It's a step-by-step, fill-in-the-blank life and business plan. And that's the one we get so much positive feedback about because we're kind of forcing you through the Real Estate Treasure Map to go through the process of really being introspective about what your mission is, what your true goals are. And then the greatest thing is the Treasure Map walks you through the exact steps you need to go through to accomplish the goals. It's not just, okay, you want to go to, Hawaii, let's say, or you want to go to wherever, Grand Caicos, and you want to go there in March. Okay, great, write that down. Well, goals like that are usually worthless. You have to create an action plan, and that's what Treasure Map does. So the Real Estate Treasure Map is the living example, embodiment of the real true definition of a goal. A goal is a dream with an action plan, and that's what the Treasure Map is all about, helping you create those action plans for every one of your goals, and also taking you through all the numbers of your budgets and helping you realize essentially where your money is going. This is one of those things that every single broker, every single office manager, everybody out there that's serious about being a service to agents, you guys should all be, strong-handing agents into completing this because it gives them the clarity of what they need to be doing every single day. So when an agent is seduced by the idea of buying a lead, they will have, that, and that's what happens every day, right? Somebody emails or calls and says, hey man, you want to buy a lead? It's like a drug dealer. You want to buy a buyer lead? And some agents, if they're, jonesing for a buyer lead because they don't know how to create their own business, they're going to succumb to that pressure. Well, if you have a specific plan, what you're supposed to be doing every single day and how to do it, you're going to have a level of confidence that is going to create momentum in your business and your personal life. And from there, the sky's the limit. So do consider freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Download that book and get started on it right away. All right, Jules, let's just jump in and let's finish out this topic.
All right, you got it. So again, we're talking about new construction, and 2 podcasts ago, we talked about what is it and why you care. And now we're getting into, and yesterday as well, how do you get started on it? We talked about how to identify new construction, so you no longer have that as an objection or an excuse. Then the next thing, once you've identified it, determine which builders have new construction representatives, quote, on site, either in model homes or in their trailers before things start getting built. Why is that? Because of point number 3, You're prioritizing them for the sake of building your resale referral network. Resale, remember we talked about one of the easiest ways to start working with new construction without having to have a listing contract, without having to, get all stressed out of potential conflict. This is the easy one, is to hobnob with those on-site reps and find out what's happening with their resale referrals. So you should know which developments, which sites have those on-site agents. Now, next, you can map it out. Point number 4, this is your action plan. Actually visit each development. Get to know the product first before you go asking for anything in return. You need to know this anyway for the sake of your buyers on the one hand, and also for the sake of when you list something that has new construction nearby competing with it, you're going to have some strategies so you don't get your butt kicked on the resale by the new construction. So you got to have this education anyway. Ask the following questions. Do they have spec homes? How do they handle home sale contingencies? Do they have in-house or special financing arrangements? Where else are they building? Do they ever list with agents on a house-by-house basis or entire projects? Who is their typical buyer? Asking these questions shows your interest and enthusiasm, and getting the answers helps you know how to monetize the relationship. Anything you want to add to that, Tim? We're just giving them some wings here, some knowledge equals confidence type of stuff.
The main thing is what you said, Julie, is you really have to understand the ramifications of new construction, even being announced in the local paper. It does send shockwaves through the community and creates a lot of uncertainty. I remember very clearly, Julie and I, when we sold real estate, and new construction was always an omnipresent part of every conversation you'd have with everybody, every single buyer or seller. Some of you are experiencing this for the first time. The main thing, just the hack. I mean, that's really what this podcast is about: giving you guys helpful shortcuts, practical and tactical ways to help others and make money. What you have to do is you have to know the new construction product. So at the very least, create like a 3-ring binder of all the new homes that these guys are building, just in a sense of what things cost and all the rest of it. That way you're informed. You have essentially something you can take with you that you can have with you pretty much at all times. Maybe make a digital version of it so you can send it to folks when they ask. And then what you do with that is basically when you get a prospective buyer, so anybody who's even just lukewarm interested, you have to register that buyer with every single one of these builders that might be a candidate in the price range that they're considering. And most build reps, if they're not jerks, will be more than happy to put you on the contract. I realize that some of them will say snotty things like realtors must be with their buyers upon first meeting, but the truth is that's not always enforced. And if you have a good working relationship with this build rep, and the build rep knows that you're going to be a good source of potential buyers, they're not going to inflict that, or uphold that policy. Because the build rep ultimately wants to have a great relationship with agents. Because remember, a build rep almost never has a real estate license, and the only product they have to sell is the one that they're selling inside their model. So the better they have, the better relationships they have with great agents who are actually out there hustling, the more houses they're going to sell, because they know that you're going to bring them prospective buyers versus bringing that buyer down the road to another new home builder. And very rarely is the new build rep how do I say this? Very rarely is the new build rep given less money if there's a co-op. It used to be in some of the smaller builders that if there was no co-op, that, in other words, if the buyer went direct without a buyer's agent, that the new build rep would get extra money. Yeah, sales rep, but that hardly ever happens. I mean, that's very, very, very rare, because that obviously creates a huge conflict in the, between the real estate community and the new build reps, which is the last thing that they want. And again, I know in some of your markets, you guys are going to be dealing with new build reps that are jerks, that don't want to co-op, that are, a little bit high on themselves. In those cases, you're going to have to, deal with their egos and work with them. And maybe on those particular ones, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. But for the most part, you can form some really, really great relationships with these new build reps and make them part of your center of influence and past client list. If you guys are going to do these pop-bys and you're going to start working, your COI, past clients like we asked you to with, basically spoiling them, add those folks to your list. Get to know them. Make them part of your center of influence past client list. Remember, guys, most of these folks do not have real estate licenses. They literally come in contact, depending on the price point in which they're selling, with folks that have to sell. So if they're selling a move-up price range, which again, most of them are, every single person practically walking into their new build rep model is going to have a house to sell. What do they do with those listing referrals? Now, some of them, when you ask them when you don't know them, they're going to tell you nothing. But that's not true. Of course, they have their pocket agents. Of course, they have agents that they know and they trust. Of course, they have agents that because, and you know what? They're going to consistently refer business to those agents because they want those, because the build deal won't happen unless the agent is successful at selling that potential buyer's existing house. You guys following me on all this? So get to know your local build reps. We have known agents. We have known top producers. Actually, I'm thinking back to my Howard Britton days, Julie and I's Howard Britton days. We knew people there whose primary source of business was exactly what we just described. They romance those folks. They get good, consistent business leads from them. And as a result of that, they were making some of the millions of dollars per year. So think big, guys. Don't just turn on the MLS. Up, there's nothing for sale. That's the way an average agent. That's the lazy button. Thank you, Julie. Next point.
Well, great segue. Point number 5, create a pop-by plan to build relationships and get the inside scoop on available homes. Be the one they call when someone backs out of a new home that's just been completed. Use our 12-month Center of Influence plan for ideas on pop-bys, or our private Facebook page if you're a Premier Coaching member to see what other Harris members are doing with new construction relationships. This should be a regular pop-by scenario. To Tim's point, most of these new build reps are actually employees of the builder. Some of them, it actually says specifically in their contract, you are not to do any resale. So what happens to that? That's the easy button for you guys. Build that relationship. And again, lots of times people will back out because maybe they weren't listed with you and they didn't get their house sold by the time they get to drywall. If it was allowed at all to have a home sale contingency, by the time it gets to framing for some of them, and certainly by drywall, the builder's contract says, if you don't remove your contingencies, we're putting this house in inventory and you get to start over. So what happens to that house that's already built? That becomes a spec home that you could list, becomes inventory you could sell to your buyer. How do you find out about it? Be friends with the new build reps. Add them to your center of influence, to Tim's point. Point number 6, take appropriate buyers from your pipeline to the right projects and sell what you can. Remember, builders offering financing equals a higher price point, but same payment for your buyers. Not in every case. This is why part of your homework was to figure out which builders are doing financing and how their financing works. Point number 7, take appropriate new build reps to coffee to discuss referral arrangements for resale properties or other opportunities you've discovered so far. Make sure, again, that you know their product first and you're working both ends. Opportunity to work with them on the listings, opportunity for them to send you those resale referrals. Point number 8, here's where we get a little bit more advanced. Set appointments, because remember, at this point, you know your product. You know how they work. You know their financing. Maybe you've sold a couple of their homes. Point number 8, set appointments with sales managers, the actual builder or developer, to discuss listing spec homes or projects. Use your pre-listing package with a modified listing plan of action for their project. Now we're going to get some questions on that, Tim, and I would say this varies a lot from builder to builder and developer to developer. One of my Dallas clients has been tasked with everything right down to naming the subdivision, the streets, like everything. He has to do everything. So his relationship with that developer is different than another one that he's working with, where basically he's just trying to move the product now that it's built. They're doing some open houses. So we go to asking what's important to the builder and then delivering on it. But by and large, your pre-listing package will do the trick in these scenarios. Anything you want to add to that, Tim?
So one of the things also I see starting to happen in some of these big marketplaces are the instant offers companies. They're starting to build relationships with the new build reps and the new build companies, where essentially the idea, and some of you I know don't know what the heck I'm talking about, go to our website, timandjulieharris.com, and just put in the keywords instant offers at the top in the search bar. We wrote a report on the instant offers programs last year. It was one of our most listened to series of podcasts. The gist of it is these guys that are these companies, and I do believe these companies are going to continue to flourish regardless of the economy, but they essentially are competitors with you as a listing agent. They'll actually go in the marketplace. In Arizona, they're very successful. In Orlando, they're very successful. Atlanta, they're going to be very successful. All these markets, and they go in, they basically will run ads and tell the seller that they'll buy the house for, usually it works out to be about the same amount of money that the seller would net if they listed it with their traditional real estate brokerage. So the agent then has to ask them, or the seller has to ask themselves, why go through the hassle of trying to resell the house if I can just basically sell it to an instant offers company? Open Door, for example, and there's a couple others now. So your job as a listing agent or a listing broker is to do two things, not one or two things, but two things. You have to learn how to basically do really good CMAs, and make a good argument to the seller that they're leaving money on the table, despite the hassle of having to prepare the house for sale and deal with the showings, that the added money that they'll make from listing the house with you is going to essentially be worth it. And the number two, and this is something that we really think the industry is slacking on, is the industry brokerages need to create their own similar programs. It's insane that a program like this is coming from a third party, not from the big ERAs and the big Century 21s and the Remaxes and the Keller Williams. Why aren't those companies doing these types of programs? Why is it that some interloper from outside the industry is coming in and offering something which obviously has a lot of appeal to sellers? Builders are finding these same programs very appealing for the sake of referring these leads off to prospective, referring the buyers who want to build with them. If they have houses to sell, the instant offers companies are starting to get their foot in the door, and they're going to, making deals with these builders to have the builders refer these buyers with houses to sell to them. And then the instant offers companies buy the houses, and then when they get an offer or when they get a contract on the new build, it's without home sale contingency. You can do something similar as an individual agent if you have investors. You could do something similar as a brokerage if you have your own money or of investors. You guys get the point here, right? So start looking into the future as to what your competition is going to be, and be a couple steps ahead. Don't make the mistake of thinking you can be successful in this or any other business if you just continue to do what everybody else is doing. A lot of you honestly have no clue how to do anything other than the very basic stuff on the MLS. Turn it on, look to see what's available as a new listing or an existing listing, or wait, even many of you just wait around for the buyers to tell you what they want to see. And if those buyers have houses to sell, you guys are not going to be chosen to be those listing agents because they're not going to be impressed with the level of service you're providing. You're just not going very deep. I know in LA, for example, our superstars, the guys from Bravo TV, David and James, right? They're from $1 Million Listing LA. They started or helped to start the MyPLS, privatelistingservice.com, it's thepls.com. Now you have to be a member, but there's another, for example, if you're not if this is about our podcast about new construction, but some new construction is making its way to thepls.com for the same exact reason. The people they want to try to pocket list these things. They don't want to put the listings on Zillow and Realtor.com and all these other websites. They know the market's hot. So you've got to be looking if you're in LA, if you're not going to thepls.com, I was there the other day helping a client figure it out, and there were hundreds of listings on there. Talk about a success. It's amazing. So the builders are going to be seeking similar opportunities to pocket list too. That might be an opportunity for you if it's a builder that's doing his own pocket listing on thepls.com. Call the builder up and try to get the listing. You guys get what I'm getting at here? Look for the opportunity. It's everywhere. Any other points, Jules?
Yes, well, just two more. Number 9 is lather, rinse, repeat. There's new projects getting started all around you. Make sure you're educated, communicating, and participating. This is not a one afternoon project for you. This is to really build this spoke right and to make it very profitable. You've got to stay in communication, stay in motion with us. Point number 10 is related to that. Consider joining your area's architectural review committee, urban planning, or other organizations to be on the inside track, especially if you live in historical areas, new development areas. You know, when you're involved with those types of committees and meetings, you're going to find out who's pulling building permits, what's going up in that field that everybody just thinks is where the Longhorns live, okay? What's going up where, and how can you be on the inside track? Even if you're just having initial meetings with those builders and developers, you'll know what's coming and how you can be of service to them and insert yourself into those transactions. So that is our going from the easiest, which is working the new build open houses. That was our easiest, and then getting the referrals from for resale, and then actually listing whole developments potentially. We've had quite a few of our clients over the years and current ones who are making tons of money with this spoke. In fact, for some of them, it is their leading spoke of business. As you said, Tim, this is a great way to maybe even double your business when you get good at it. And I don't want to hear from anybody unless you live in the middle of, say, I don't know, even North Dakota. It's not a good example anymore. They've got new construction. Maybe you're a farm and ranch person, and maybe you get off the hook. But 95% of our listeners, this stuff is all around you. You just have to know where it is.
I know what someone's going to say. I'm in San Francisco. It's all landlocked. There's well, guess what they're doing? They're tearing down properties, or they're making existing houses into multifamilies. Yep, we
So,
talked about it the other day. Exactly. So, guys, listen, here's the mindset. I wonder if you have this mindset. Do you see the opportunity everywhere, or do you think leads are hard to come by? Do you think leads are scarcity? It's all about scarcity. Oh my gosh, there's not enough, opportunity for everyone. Or do you see abundance? Because you really should see abundance. Real estate is the only industry that I can think of, outside of maybe some, grocery type things, water and food and toilet paper, I suppose. And if you live in our house, coffee. But basically, you want, and it's going to be something you're always going to buy. Real estate's the same way. I mean, if you're wanting to buy a picture frame today or a computer, how often do you actually replenish those things? Not very frequently. Real estate is, and how many often do you actually need those types of things? Not very frequently. Real estate is something that people need at all times. And you either are thinking about buying or selling. You right now, listeners, 120 some thousand of you are listening. You guys are all thinking about, I'll buy something if the numbers make sense. I'll sell if the numbers make sense. I'd love to move up. Maybe it's time I move down. You know what? Maybe it's time we buy a house you get the point. You guys are yourselves constantly thinking about real estate. So are civilians, non-licensees. They're thinking about it all the time too. Everybody does. I wonder how much that field is. I just saw a new subdivision that's getting built. I wonder how much those houses are going to be. Wonder how much it costs to buy a house that's this price range. Those types of conversations, right? You guys are in the perfect industry to help folks, because everybody needs what you have to sell. Think of another business like that. It's an amazing thing. So please take this seriously. And if you are scarcity minded to the point where you get suckered into buying buyer leads, I beg you guys to question your sanity about that when you hopefully are at least dipping your toes into the waters of lead sobriety and realizing that really leads are everywhere. Once you kind of realize that, once that box has sort of been checked in your mind, then you got to kind of go meander back into the realm of buying leads and ask yourself why the heck you're doing it. The only reason you're doing it, answering your own question for you, once you realize that leads are everywhere, is because you don't have the skills or you don't know how to go after the business. You don't know what to say. That's what coaching is about. That's the unique thing about agents who have skills. In a market like this, guys, a lot of folks have been able to be successful just because. In a market like what we're going into, and some of you guys are already experiencing this, you hear people talk about inflation, rising interest rates. When the market starts to normalize and supply and demand starts to normalize, the agents who succeed are going to be the agents who have the skill set. Sometimes you can be successful in a market where it's a seller's market just because you know enough people and you can pick up some listings and the listings sell themselves and you actually start thinking you're good. All of a sudden when the market changes and the listing stops selling and you don't know how to get price changes, you don't know how to overcome sellers' objections about positioning the house in the market so it correctly reflects the buyer's expectations, let alone how to overcome buyers' objections about pricing and all the rest of it, then you're out of the business. So I strongly encourage you guys to request a free coaching call at freecoachingcallsforagents.com, and we will get you going in the right direction. You still, look, it's not even the end of first quarter 2018 yet, so you still have plenty of time to make this your best year ever. But you cannot sit around another second. Do not sit around another second thinking you're going to, you're getting ready to get started and you'll do it tomorrow, because you won't. Otherwise, you would have already. You've already lost 90 days, some of you so far this year, and you have no momentum. It's your fault. I know you're going to blame the weather. You're going to blame interest rates. You're going to blame this, that, and the other thing. You have to create your own momentum. Nobody else will do that in this business. If you need us for anything, it's tim@timandjulieharris.com or julie@timandjulieharris.com. Remember, just go to freecoachingcallsforagents.com, and it'll be our pleasure to help you get going in the right direction. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you on the show tomorrow.
This program has been a presentation by Tim and Julie Harris, Real Estate Coaching. For more information on our real estate coaching and training programs, visit our website at timandjulieharris.com. Remember to tune in weekdays at noon for upcoming shows, and until next time, thank you for listening to Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.